talk about the missing Saudi journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. And this may be a little bit of a different viewpoint than you would expect from me, or something that you've not really heard so far, but I'm going to just get straight to it. I don't particularly care about this situation. Now, let me explain. I'm not saying it's okay for a person to be killed because they're a journalist who says negative things about a particular place. I'm not saying that at all. However, you're talking about a Saudi citizen that was allegedly killed by the Saudis. Why should that be my concern? Now, yes, he was or is a U.S. resident, but he is not a U.S. citizen. He has a green card, so he's not a U.S. citizen. If he was a citizen, that'd be a different story. You're talking about a foreign nation killing a U.S. citizen. However, that is not the case here. You're talking about a person being killed by their own country, of which they are a citizen. That is their business. Let them handle that. Let's back up a little bit in case you don't quite understand what's going on here. Now, Jamal Khashoggi is or was 60 years old, a Saudi citizen who is highly critical of the Saudi regime, of the king, if I'm not mistaken, talking about 9/11, and said the Saudis were involved. So allegedly the Saudis did not like this guy. They wanted him killed. They banned him off of Twitter. So he leaves Saudi Arabia and goes into self-imposed exile into Turkey. Now, I don't know why he was in Turkey instead of the U.S., because if you live in the U.S., why not just go back to the U.S. rather than Turkey? You're right close to Saudi, but that's a different story. So he's there. He has his life there, and he wanted to marry a Turkish woman in Turkey. Now, I don't know how you leave for a year because he's only been gone for a year from Saudi. I don't know how you're gone for a year and then all of a sudden you want to get married. Maybe he had that particular love interest while he was living in the States or when he was in Saudi Arabia, but that's a different story. So he wants to get married, but he has to go to the Saudi consulate to get a few things ironed out as far as him being a citizen or whatever he has to do in Turkey to have that happen. Now, if it's me and I think that the government does not like me, if they have banned me from Twitter, and if I go into self-imposed exile away from Saudi Arabia into Turkey, why would I go to the Saudi consulate in Turkey? It doesn't make any sense. I know at that point I'm in danger. Matter of fact, he knew that because he told his soon-to-be wife to stand outside and not go in the consulate with him and keep the phone. Now, once he goes inside the consulate, that's when things get a little bit weird. They're talking about, well, he was killed inside intentionally. They said it was an interrogation that went wrong. It was 15 people that came and dismembered his body. They had a cleaning crew come remove the evidence. Some say he left the consulate on his own accord. I'm hearing all types of things. Allegedly, there is an audio tape of the situation. The New York Times reported that, but I've not heard the tape. If you've heard the tape, please post a link in the description box below. Send it to my email or something. I've not seen any such link. I've not heard any such tape, but let's get back to it. The tape was allegedly recorded on his Apple Watch, and I don't know how they got the audio. Some say that the Apple Watch was able to transmit sound from Bluetooth to the phone of the wife or soon-to-be wife that was outside. But people are saying that might have been too far. The connection would not have been strong enough because Bluetooth, I mean, you can't just have that from yards and yards and yards away. That's not really how the technology works. Some say that the audio was being recorded on his watch as he came into the consulate and uploaded to the cloud, and somehow they were able to get that. Some are saying that the Saudis that were in there who allegedly dismembered him found the Apple Watch and then they unlocked it with his fingerprint. But Apple, from what I've been able to hear, has said that no such thing is possible. You can't open up or get access to an Apple Watch with your fingerprint. Your cell phone, yes, but not your Apple Watch. So there's a lot of stories going around, a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, a lot of different things. Regardless of what's true, regardless of what's false, some people are saying that Trump and the U.S. as a whole should impose sanctions on Saudi Arabia because of the allegations, not even any evidence. First of all, why would we do that? Let's not forget, Saudi Arabia is an ally. Now, you could say that, oh, wow, we don't need an ally like that. They're killing their own people. They're Muslims. They're terrorists. They did 9/11. All right. You can say that, but you have to understand how important they are when you're talking about oil, when you're talking about having the presence in that particular area. We got military bases. I mean, you don't want to have Saudi Arabia be an enemy of you. You rather have them be here and imperfect than an enemy and still imperfect. That's going to cause a major disruption in our whole efforts in the Middle East and in the average everyday American's pocket, because they already came back and said, you know what, if you impose sanctions, we're going to retaliate. And what that really means is we're going to drive the price of oil up. And it's much different. Some people are saying, well, America, we produce a lot of oil. That's true. But Saudi Arabia can impact the global supply, which could cause the barrels to go up, which could cause your average everyday American to pay an exponential amount more at the pump. Maybe it'll be a small amount, a few cents, or it could be a large amount, like $1 or $2. Now, do you think it's worth it to pay more at the pump and lose an ally overseas because of one allegation of somebody being killed by their own country? Imagine if we did that exact same thing with all other countries in the world. Don't get it twisted. There have been people who have been killed by the U.S., by the government, that should not have been killed. I mean, where's Seth Rich? What happened to him? How about John Ash? A lot of other people have been killed by the U.S. And what are we going to do against ourselves? I mean, was JFK set up? I mean, who knows? You have people in the U.S. that have killed other citizens that was, kind of a hit job by the government that are still living. So since some countries say that you should kill somebody like that, are they going to impose sanctions on us? What about other countries where the same thing happens, where their particular government kills their citizen for a thing that we don't believe is right? Now, like I said from the beginning, I don't think it's okay to kill a journalist because they disagree with you, because they're critical of your particular regime. That's not what I'm into. However, why should we be involved with that? I'm a non-interventionist kind of person. One individual that is allegedly not even proven to be killed by a particular government does not warrant me getting involved with it. And the way I would get involved with it is having higher gas at the pump and also having a less safe country. Having Saudi Arabia as an ally is worth much more than having them as an enemy, even if they are imperfect. But I want to hear you guys' comments on this. Should we retaliate against the Saudis for a thing that we think they might have done, talking about killing their own citizen over some critical hit pieces against the Saudi regime? If that's the case, should we do the same thing for other countries? North Korea, China. China's the worst. Oh my goodness, they kill people. Like, they had the actress in some kind of gulag over not paying taxes. I mean, should we go over there? Do we want to fight with Xi Jinping? Do we want to fight with the Saudi king and the leader of North Korea and Vladimir Putin and everybody else? At a certain point, I don't think it's up to us to initiate fights with other countries because of what they do. That's their business. I don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with the Islamic culture in general. That doesn't mean I have the right to go over there and impose sanctions on them because I don't agree the way they operate. I think you should release the women from the beekeeper outfit, but that's what they want. That's not my business. That's their business. Let their men and let their women handle out whatever they have going on. At the end of the day, as I close, I think this whole thing, this whole brouhaha, this whole hubbub is just to try to make Trump look bad. They're trying to say Trump is sucking up to the Saudis and they're trying to, he's kowtowing to him and pandering to him. The reality is that retaliation against the Saudis would hurt us more than it would hurt them. It's like if you get mad at somebody and you punch your own self in the face to hurt them, how does that make any sense? Let's keep the allies that we have and let's not make new enemies and let's not get involved in a situation that's not truly our business. But whatever your comments are, please let me know.